How to talk to anyone. Introduction. This is a story about a boy named Arun. He is smart, kind, and full of dreams, but he has one big dream that he cannot talk to people. Whenever he tries, his words disappear. He feels small, afraid, and invisible. This story is about how Arun changes, how he learns step by step to talk, to connect, and to share his heart. It is not only Arun's story, it is the story of every person who has ever felt shy, silent, or afraid. By the end, you will see if Arun can talk to anyone, you can too. Chapter 1. The Silent Boy. The classroom was noisy with laughter, chattering desks, and the chatter of friends. Yet, in the last row, Arun sat quietly, his notebook open, his pen idle. His eyes wandered out the window, following the dance of the wind through the trees. He was not dull. In fact, he had sharp eyes and a quick mind. But whenever he tried to speak, the words hid from him. His voice sank in his chest. His hands grew cold. His heart pounded like a drum, drowning every thought. During lunch, his classmates gathered in groups. They laughed, exchanged jokes, and told stories. Arun carried his plate alone. He sat in a corner and ate silently. He wished someone would notice him, ask him to join, but no one did. That evening, his mother asked, "Did you make any new friends today?" Arun lowered his eyes and shook his head. No. His mother placed her hand gently on his shoulder. Talking to people is not magic, son. It is practice. You will learn. But Arun wondered, will I ever learn or will I always be invisible? That night, standing before the mirror, he whispered to his reflection, I want to change. I want to talk to anyone. It was the first time he had spoken that dream aloud. Chapter 2. A Stranger with a Smile. The next morning, the classroom buzzed with curiosity. A new student had arrived. Her name was Mira. She walked to the front with confidence. "Hello, everyone," she said brightly. "My name is Mira. I love stories and painting. I hope we can be good friends." The class clapped. Arun watched her, fascinated. She was fearless, words flowing from her like music. At lunch, Arun saw her sitting alone, her tray untouched. His chest tightened. This is my chance, he thought. If I speak now, maybe everything will change. He walked towards her slowly. His knees shook, his palms were damp. Mira looked up and smiled. "Hi, do you want to sit here?" Arun nodded quietly and sat. His lips were dry. "So, what's your name?" she asked. Arun, he whispered. "That's a nice name," she said warmly. "Do you like reading?" Arun's heart leapt. He wanted to tell her about the books he loved, the stories he liked inside. But only one small word escaped his mouth. Yes. Mira smiled again and carried the conversation, filling the silence with her stories. Arun listened, nodding, giving short answers. It wasn't perfect, but for the first time, Arun felt seen. Walking home that evening, he felt something flicker inside him. It was small, like a candle flame, but it was there hope. Chapter 3. The First Attempt. Days passed. Mira's presence in the classroom was like sunlight. She spoke easily with everyone, laughed freely, and even asked Arun to join small conversations. One afternoon, after school, Arun saw a group of boys discussing cricket. He loved cricket. He followed every match, memorized scores, and dreamed of playing. His lips parted. He wanted to speak. Did you see? He began, but his voice was too soft. The boys did not hear. His words died in the air. Disappointed, waited on him. But then Mira, who had been nearby, turned. What did you say, Arun? She asked gently. Arun swallowed hard. Did you see yesterday's match? The boy stopped and looked at him. For a moment, silence stretched. Then one of them grinned. Yes, that's six in the last over. Amazing, right? Arun's heart soared. Why were answering they were answering him. They had heard him. For the first time he stood in a circle, not on the outside. Chapter 4. The Secret Mentor. That weekend, Arun visited the town library. He liked the quiet there, the smell of books, the comfort of silence. While browsing, he noticed an old man arranging books. His hair was silver, his back slightly bent, but his eyes shone with warmth. You like reading, young man? The old man asked. Arun hesitated, then nodded yes. What kind of book stories? Arun whispered. The old man smiled. Stories are doors. But remember, young man, conversation is also a story. Every time you talk to someone, you open a door. Arun stared at him, but I cannot talk. I get afraid. The old man clenched softly. Fear is natural, but fear is a poor master. Speak not to impress. Speak to connect. People do not remember perfect words, they remember warm hearts. Those words stayed with Arun like seeds planted in his soul. Chapter 5. The Small Steps. The next week, Arun decided to try. He began with tiny steps. At the tea stall, he said to the shopkeeper, "One tea, please." His voice trembled, but the shopkeeper smiled and handed him the cup. Arun felt like he had won a medal. At school, he forced himself to greet his classmates with a good morning. Sometimes they replied, sometimes they did not, but each word was a stone in the bridge he was building. He smiled at people, even strangers. Some smiled back, some did not. But every smile strengthened him. He remembered the old man's words: speak to connect, not to impress. Chapter 6. The Test. One day, the teacher announced a class activity. Each student had to speak for 2 minutes on a topic of their choice. Arun's chest tightened. His throat went dry. He wanted to vanish. When his turn came, he walked slowly to the front. His legs felt like iron. His heart trembled. He looked at the sea of faces staring at him. Good morning, he whispered. Some students giggled. His ears burned. He wanted to run. Then, in the corner of the room, he saw Meera. She smiled, her eyes encouraging. Arun took a breath. My name is Arun, he said louder this time, and I want to talk about cricket. As he spoke, the first sentence shook. But then something happened. The words he loved, the runs, the matches, the heroes began to flow. His hands moved, his eyes lit up. For 2 minutes, he wasn't the silent boy, he was alive, speaking with passion. When he finished, the class clapped, not politely but warmly. Arun sat down, trembling, but inside a wall had cracked open. Chapter 7. The Change. The weeks turned into months. Arun was still quiet, but not invisible anymore. He joined conversations, asked questions, shared jokes. He discovered that People liked him not because he spoke perfectly, but because he listened, because he cared. One afternoon, Meera told him, "You know, Arun, when you talk, people listen. You have a calm way that makes others feel safe." Arun blinked. He had never thought of himself like that. That night, he wrote in his diary, "Talking to anyone is not about show off, it is about opening your heart." Chapter 4, The Full Circle. Years later, Arun stood on a stage facing an audience of hundreds. He was no longer the silent boy in the last row. He was now a teacher, a guide, speaking to young students about confidence and connection. He told him his story about the boy who was invisible, about the girl who smiled at him, about the old man who said conversation is a story. He ended with these words: "Friends, you do not need perfect English. You do not need clever lines. All you need is courage to begin and kindness to continue. Speak to connect, speak to share, and you will discover you can talk to anyone." The hall erupted with applause. Arun smiled, remembering the boy in the mirror years ago. The boy who had whispered, "I want to change." He had changed, and now he was helping others change too. Chapter 9, The Dark Day. Life was not always a straight road. Sometimes Arun feels strong, but other days, fear written like an old enemy. One afternoon, during sports practice, a group of boys mocked him. "Hey, silent Arun, do you even know how to shout?" One of them laughed. The words cut deep. Arun froze. He wanted to answer, but his voice failed. The laughter echoed in his chest. That evening, he sat in his room, broken. "Maybe I will never change," he thought. "Maybe I will always be the quiet one." Tears stung his eyes. He remembered all the time he had failed to speak, all the moments he had lost. His dream of talking to anyone felt too far away. Then he remembered Mira's words: "When you talk, people listen." And the old man's voice: "Fear is natural, but fear is a poor master." Arun wiped his eyes. "I will not let fear rule me," he whispered. That night, he wrote in his diary, "Even if I fall, I will rise again. I will not stop." Chapter 10, The Letter. The next morning, Arun tried something new. Instead of waiting for confidence, he decided to create it. He wrote a letter to himself. "Dear Arun, you are not invisible. You're not weak. You're learning. Every word you speak is a step. Don't wait for courage. Make it. Speak even when afraid. Speak even if your voice shakes." From your friend. He carried the letter in his pocket. Whenever fear rose, he touched it and remembered his rose. Chapter 11, The Unexpected Friend. One day, during a library period, Arun noticed a boy sitting alone at the back, just like he asked too. His name was Ravi. He looked nervous, avoiding eye contact. Arun recognized that loneliness. He walked over, heart steady. "Hi, I'm Arun. Can I sit here?" Ravi looked up, surprised, then nodded. Within minutes, they were talking about books, cricket, and dreams. Arun realized he was doing what Meera had once done for him. He was giving someone else a chance. For the first time, Arun felt the joy of helping others. Person from person find their voice. Chapter 12, The Debate. The school announced a debate competition. Meera immediately signed up. To everyone's shock, Arun signed up too. His classmates whispered, Arun, he he barely talks. Arun heard them, but instead of shivering, he stood taller. One day of the debate, his legs trembled as he stepped onto the stage, but when he began speaking, his passion changed him. He spoke about honesty, about courage, about why every voice matters. When he finished, the hall was silent for a moment, and then applause thundered. He did not win the first prize, but he won something greater, respect. When Arun's turn came, he stood before his classmates, the same boy who once sat silent in the last row. My friend, he began, his voice steady. When I came here, I was afraid to speak. I thought words were heavy, stones I could never carry. Arun smiled gently. I know that feeling. Let me tell you a story. And he told the boy about a silent child who once sat alone at lunch, who once froze in fear, but who found courage step by step. At the end, Arun said, you do not need perfect English. You do not need clever lines. All you need is courage to begin and kindness to continue. Speak to connect. Speak to share. And you will discover you can talk to anyone. The boy's eyes lit up. For the first time, he believed. And as Arun walked away, he smiled. The story that once saved him was now saving others. The secret of talking to anyone. Talking to anyone is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about opening a door through a smile, a question, or a simple hello. It is not about impressing, it is about connecting. It is not about perfect grammar, it is about honest hearts. It is not about never failing, it is about raising every time you fall. And if a silent boy like Arun could find his voice, so can anyone.